What's up everyone, Chef Dave here with another cooking video, and today we're going to talk tacos, specifically kind of the off-cut of tacos. And growing up Portuguese, I love offal, you know, all the things, the ears, the liver, the tripe, all those things. And you know, that really carries over when you start talking about tacos. And you know, obviously there's great just simple tacos of, you know, like pork belly or whatever, you know. The ones I really kind of lean into are the offal tacos. And now more than ever, you know, things are getting more expensive. You know, I believe in kind of looking at alternate meats and using everything. And we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, and that is pig's ears. These bad boys right here. You can get these in your butcher shop. You know, even most grocery stores carry them at this point. They're not that uncommon of an item, but we're going to make tacos with them, and we're going to do them in kind of the Pibil style sauce of the Yucatan, which is kind of a sour orange spice, some of those warming spices like the cinnamons and such. And traditionally it's cooked kind of underground, you know, with coals and everything else. Obviously we're not doing that. We are doing just kind of stovetop. Let me take you through the process of dealing with these in order to get to the end. All right, let's do it. So first things first, let's talk about our ingredients here for the sauce itself, and then we'll go into the pig's ears. We've got the classic onions, garlic. For chilies, we're going to use guajillos. I like guajillos a lot. You can use whatever your favorite chili is. Obviously, you want to monitor spicing. Now, Pibil traditionally is quite hot. It uses habaneros. I'm not doing that personally. I like to add heat later on if I have to, while maintaining some heat in the sauce. So I use guajillos. They're not too spicy. I just top them. I actually leave the seeds in these. We're going to toast these off. Here we've got oregano, some more chili spice here from Lonnie's, and achiote powder. So achiote powder is what gives it that deep red color. It is a little bit bitter, a little bit sour as well, and this is why it's important to have in there. Some allspice, star anise, cinnamon. These are our warming spices. And then we've got coriander and cumin. This is kind of the spice mix. Now the liquid, which is not shown here right now, the liquid that we're going to use is a sour orange juice. And you can either buy sour orange juice. Sometimes they sell it in the freezer section. Make sure there's no sugar added to it though. If you don't have it, you're just going to use a mix of 1 part orange juice and 25% lime juice. Okay, so just to sour it up, just give it that citrus flavor, and we'll add that later on. But let's handle these pig's ears for now, and we'll get into the sauce. So fortunately, I work with really great local butchers, Spanish butchers in my neighborhood, Spanish Harlem, and these ears are, I went through them, they are crazy clean already. Now, traditionally what you're going to look for, obviously you got two big things, right? You got hair, which is just part of the process, but as you can see here, they have burnt the hair off and then washed them. All right, so who's ever processing these ears is doing a great job, because there's really no hair on these at all. Now, you got a couple options when it comes to hair. You can, if you have a blowtorch at home, you can blowtorch it off and just singe it all off and then wash it. Or you can even take a fresh razor, like a disposable razor, and just shave it. And that works just like you were shaving regular skin, right? So that all works. The other thing you're looking for is sometimes you get like this extra bit of skin here. This is that's a little bit unpleasant. You know, and you're going to take that off. And that's it. That's all you have to do to prep these. Now, pig's ears take a while to cook, so we're going to do this in 2 stages. So let me show you how. All right, so we got a couple pots that we might be dealing with. We got to see how much room we've got. Basically, to start, you're going to layer these pig's ears into the pot, right? Because we want to bring these to a boil. You know, let's do 2 pots, just so we have enough room. All right, and now we're going to pour water in here. You're not going to need any salt, anything, none of that for this. We're just going to bring this to a simmer or boil, and then simmer it for about an hour, which isn't going to be enough time to cook them. All right, so let's put these on. I'll do the other ones in a second. We're going to bring it to a simmer, and then we're going to gently simmer this for 1 hour. In the meantime, we're going to deal with our sauce ingredients. So a lot of people don't realize this, but Mexican food is way more complex than it often gets credit for. So what we're going to do, I got my toaster oven on. It's on for about 450 degrees. 400 degrees is fine, whatever. We're going to toast off these spices, aromatics, and the onion and garlic as well, because we're going to try to create layers of flavor, okay? And we're going to make this into a spice mix. In the end, we'll see if we use all of this. This is 2 ounces. This is 3 ounces of guajillo peppers, 1.5 ounces of coriander, 2 ounces of cumin, and we're going to toast that off. These two we're not going to toast off. It's fine. And we are going to roast the garlic and the onion as well. So if that gets a little charred, we want that. That's okay. All right. So we're going to take these, throw them all in the oven. These aren't going to take long. This is going to take probably 8 minutes, maybe even a little less at 400 degrees. And then this will take a little bit longer. Put this one in the back, since we'll be taking that out. All right, perfect. Okay, we'll pull that out in 8 minutes or so. All right, these are obviously crazy hot, but the reason why we're doing it this way, we want to braise these until they're tender, right? Because they're for tacos. That process takes 3 to 4 hours, okay? So after they're tender, the skin obviously gets very soft and it falls off quite a bit, which is fine, not the end of the world. But I always find it easier to cut these up to the size I want beforehand, before I braise them fully. So I kind of just set the proteins when I'm doing this. And all I'm going to do is cut it in half, right? You can still hear that they're kind of crispy, crunchy. And then we're just going to cut like this. Okay? Again, still very hard, if you will. They need several hours more of cooking. But I set them up this way so that it's less work later. They're not covered in sauce. They're not, they're easier to deal with. Obviously, they're hot. But even they're hot, I mean, these just literally just came out of the water. You can still kind of handle them. If you wanted to let them rest a little bit so that they're easier to handle, that's fine too. But you're going to cut them up just like this, and then I'll bring it back to make the sauce. All right, now that we have all our pig's ears cut, we're ready to start the sauce. Now for these ingredients, we're going to put those in the saute. We're not going to put them in the puree, mostly because the achiote really does stain, so I don't want to stain my blender top. Instead, we've got our onion that just came out of the oven. You can see, nice and toasty. Sorry, the microphone gave out here. To the onions, you're going to add the toasted spices. Crispy on the guajillos, really nice, adds that flavor. You're going to add all that guajillo, all the coriander and cumin. And then after that, you're going to add the sweet spices, which is the star anise, the cinnamon, and the allspice. And then lastly, we're going to add our sour orange juice. Again, this is 25% lime juice, 100% orange juice. You're going to puree that till it's nice and smooth. You don't have to go all the way smooth. It's okay if it has a little bit of chunkiness, but mostly, you want to break it all down. All right, let's put our heat on. We're going to start this on medium-high. Okay, this is just same pot that we boiled the ears in. We're going to put a good amount of olive oil in there, probably about a cup of olive oil. You can use pork fat if you want. And then we're just going to, as this comes up, we're just going to toast this achiote, oregano, and a little bit of chili. We're just, again, just slightly toasting it. Nothing crazy. All right, once this is nice and toasted, as it is, we're going to add our paste. Okay, we're not going to add all of this. We're going to add about half of it. Okay, I think that's going to be plenty. All right, and the other half you can use for a different braise, different day. And this freezes really well as well. Gotta toast these things. Again, this is part of what I was saying earlier. You gotta take these steps in order to make it right. That, to me, is what a lot of people miss about Mexican cuisine. And listen, I've just scratched the surface of it by, it's never been my specialty by any means. Okay, we're gonna lower the heat just a little bit because it's gonna stick a little bit, which is fine, but we don't want it to burn. We're gonna add some of our pork cooking liquid. You don't have to add too much to start, probably about a pint worth. And we're just deglazing the bottom, making this paste into kind of more of a sort of a broth to braise in, if you will. That's going to reduce down. We're going to season this now since we didn't add salt before. There's definitely a sweetness to it that comes from the onions and garlic being roasted. That was probably about 3 tablespoons of salt. Now, we don't want to make this like soup, but we do want a vehicle for it to braise in. There's probably about a total of a quart of liquid in here. And it has this wonderful sweet, sour kind of taste to it, which is really nice. All right, now we're going to add our pig's ears. Carefully and gingerly. Right, give them a stir, cover them up in that sauce. Now these will release a little bit more liquid too, so we need a nice good fitting lid. Get them going and get them braising in this sauce. We're going to add a little bit more liquid, I think. So we're up to about another pint, so about 1.5 quarts of liquid for this amount. And this is, again, I don't know if I said it before, this is 5 pounds of pig's ears. We're going to bring this up to a boil, so we're going to bring the heat back up. But you want to be careful, you want to watch it so that it doesn't stick on the bottom. This will have, because the achiote is kind of almost starchy in a way, this will want to stick a little bit, okay? So keep your eye on it, stir it every, 5 minutes or so. And we are done, okay? Oh, yeah. God, the smell is so good. So good. Just been sitting on low for about 2 hours now. Very tender, ready to go. And I'm gonna let this rest. And this is ready. We'll show you the taco momentarily. Boom, and here you go. This is how I'm doing my taco spread today. I got my warm tortillas right there. I've got some cucumber that's just peeled, sliced, and salted. I've got some nice red and green cabbage. Again, just a little bit of salt and tossed just to soften it a little bit. We got our pig's ears. We got sour cream. We got Valentina, if we want a little more heat. And we also have the salsa verde, which is a video on how to make that for your next taco night. So let's build one. Boom. Beautiful. Nice and warm. These Chinese food containers is one of the best ways to keep the tortillas warm. Right. And now for these ears. I like to make my tacos as a kind of 2-biters, right? So I'm only putting 2 to 3 pieces of pig's ears on mine. So I like to fold it and eat it kind of in 2 bites. So a little bit of this. Now this has tons of lime in it, so I don't need a squeeze of lime, but you can, of course, jazz it up with more lime. But I love this sauce here. I'm gonna put a little bit of Valentina because I like it. Just a tiny bit. Boom. And then I'm gonna put a dollop of sour cream. I don't always do sour cream, but I'm gonna do a little bit of sour cream right here. Beautiful. 1 squirt wonder. Boom. There you have it. Taco ready to go. Now let's eat up. All right, this is how I like to roll with my taco. I take one end, fold it over, take the other side, and then the other side. So you kind of make like a boat, if you will, and then bam. So good. So good. Oh my God. And there you have it. How to make Pibil tacos using pig's ears. And again, I'm ecstatic. I love pig's ears. It's a great alternate meat. But you can do this with anything, right? Pork shoulder, chopped up, braise it in the same sauce. You can utilize whatever you want. Pork belly even. Kind of, again, the world is your oyster on this stuff. I think we should be concentrating on alternate kind of meats outside of the ones that we all know. So using pig's ears is a wonderful way to do that. And the sauce is absolutely fantastic. Enjoy your tacos, everyone. Thanks for joining me. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Chef Dave, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.